It's time to join your host, Jean-Francois Gemme, founder of List Building Anonymous, the 12-step program for building a profitable online business and the only podcast which delivers A to Z strategies from the online trenches and experts straight to you.
Hi, my name is Jean-Francois and I'm a list builder. I want to welcome you to today's episode where we'll go over the first step of the 12 steps program for building a profitable list. And today we have someone really special, one of my favorite people in the world. So Kristin has been a real estate, business, and life coach since 2001. She has taught thousands of people how to improve their lives, make money investing in real estate, grow their businesses, and be happy and balanced in all areas of their life. She's a trainer and speaker. She has coached and invested her own way through 25 years of raising 4 beautiful children. Her goal is that every time she teaches, each listener will take some nuggets away that will improve their business or life, because nothing makes her happier than to help others succeed. And I can vouch on that because I've been having the privilege to work with her, and every time I'm always amazed with all that she can provide as value. So it's with great honor that I have her today on the show. And so I give you Kristiin Sabey.
Thank you very much, JF. It's very nice to be here.
Great. So that first step goes as is. It's we admitted that we were powerless over our past struggles, and we decided to strengthen our mindset. So for this episode, we'll focus more on the straighten our mindset part. So Kristin, I would like to pick your brain a little bit about the all-in concept that we often hear online. And also that it's more than just financially. There's also a mental part and also the energy part. So what's your thought about that?
Well, there are a lot of ways that I've noticed help me and also the other people that I coach with to help their mindset. There are so many good things available to us, and a lot of them are easy to take advantage of these days. For example, a podcast. It's very easy to plug into one of those. We also have so many books available, and books have been a steadfast way for people to improve their lives and their mindset and their knowledge base, which also adds into the mindset just by educating themselves from other people's experiences and the things that have helped them. And mindset is really nothing more than choosing the positive over the negative. We as people have positive and negative running through our brains and through us all the time. Our environments are saturated with positive and negative, and it really comes down to what we choose to focus on. So if you guys really want to get a good mindset, you have to choose in every day that you can either say positive affirmations, attend good meetings where people are supportive and focused on the positive things that they're doing in their own lives, and allowing you to share the good things happening in your life. And then just continuing, whether it's through the internet, through books, through conversations with people, to get more and more of the good in and push the bad out.
Great stuff. The other thing also, it's a little bit in the same route is about the limiting beliefs. And what I've seen over the last couple of years is I saw that a lot of people, they kind of get stuck with I can't. For example, they will stumble upon any roadblock and they will say I can do that, or I don't have this, or things like that. And what I saw that for me myself helped break through, and I saw a lot of people break through, is when they are able to transition and transform any I can that they have into how can I. So what would be your thought about that?
I absolutely believe that. It is a transformation. There are not very many people I've ever met that come into this world and develop a very, very healthy self-esteem where they believe that they can do anything that they want and never lose it. It seems a lot of people are born with, I can do this, I have big dreams, I have big hopes, but then somewhere along the way they lose that. So it's this process of going back in and getting out all of those bad thoughts and bad filters that have oftentimes been placed there by other people. You know, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not handsome enough, you'll never be good enough, you don't have the talent. So all of these negative things that we've been told throughout our lives, it's up to us to come back and say, I am good enough. I believe in myself. I'm smart enough. And most of that process is just overcoming our fears. Success is nothing more than that process of overcoming the roadblocks and the fears that we personally have inside of us and the negativity that those other people have placed into our heads that at some point we chose to believe. So the sooner that you can piece by piece say, ooh, that's a really nasty, limited belief, and you identify it, and then you take action to replace it. So whether you're doing those positive daily affirmations, whether you're praying about it and asking the Lord to remove it from you, whether you ask for positive feedback from your friends and family and say, what do you think I'm good at? And then you choose to believe the good things that people say about you and get rid of those limiting beliefs, then, you know, you can stay stuck in failure and self-sabotage and a lot of negative behaviors for years and years, potentially your whole life. So it's up to you to decide, does that belief benefit me or hold me back? And if it's a hold me back and you want to be successful, you find the ways, the people, the positiveness inside of you, connect with source and really find out, what were you gifted with? What can you believe about yourself that's going to pull you forward past those roadblocks, past those fears, to where you really can achieve business success, relationship success, personal success in whatever area that you desire. But you can do it. I know that I've personally overcome many of my limiting beliefs that kept standing in my way, and it took me years to identify many of them. But some of them are right in front of you right now, and you can really look at that and start working on those things. And JF will be sharing more of these wonderful things over the next several weeks and months, and I would advise you to take advantage of those things and little by little just keep tapping away, chipping away all of that negativity and let your beliefs turn from limiting ones to empowering ones.
Yeah. Awesome. And also what I would add is you need to be humble to be able to see those things and change them, and also have the courage to make the change.
Yes, very much. Courage is an important part of this, to just have the conviction to believe in yourself. And it does take humility and strength. But those are things that if you don't feel like you have a lot of them right now, they can be developed. Yeah. They're just like a muscle. So if you start working out, sure, it's a little weaker at the beginning, but it gets stronger and stronger as you continue to exercise. And so your courage will definitely work that same way. You'll get more and more courageous the more you trust yourself and the more you practice at it.
Yeah, exactly. And something that helped me a lot a couple of years ago about having courage is before I thought that having courage was not having fear. But in fact, at some point, I changed that. That was a limiting belief, in fact, into seeing that courage is not having fear, is just taking action, even if there's a fear, to take that action.
Exactly. Yes, that's perfectly explained. And then that's something that I had to discover myself. And I love some of those quotes about courage is not the absence of fear. Yeah. And bravery is really an important part of becoming successful, because we all do have fears. We're human. And so recognizing what you just said, I just have to say amen to it. That's exactly right.
Great. And the other part, in fact, it goes back to when we met, you and me, about, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, through a mutual friend and mentors, Danny Johnson. And it's a concept that really struck me at that time about the 2%er. Could you expand on that?
Sure. 2%er is a term that we use to talk about 2% of the whole population. Most people, so about 98% of the population, are stuck in the same rut. They believe the things that are told to them through the media, and they're in bad money spending habits, and they're not good at rising above the yuck that is out there. But 2% of the people in the world will be able to be truly successful. And a lot of that comes from just aligning themselves with what they were designed to do. We all have gifts and abilities and strengths. And when you align yourself with those strengths and you believe in yourself and you put some of those bad habits out of your life, you stop wasting money, you stop talking negatively about yourself, you stop creating this self-sabotage where you get in the habit of, after you have a little bit of success, somehow finding a way to destroy it. And so 2%ers just rise above. They're ones that push through the hard stuff. And it's like you're talking about with courage, JF. It's not the absence of fear that makes people become a 2%er. Very successful people also face their fears. They have the fears. They see them, they identify them, they push through them, and they have some failures. Generally speaking, everyone has several failures in their businesses and in their life before they become truly successful to the level that they want to become. So 2%ers believe and they hold fast and they pick themselves up when they fall down and they get going again. And it's that process of continually pushing forward, falling back, pushing forward, falling back to eventually achieve all of their goals that they want to, whether those are financial goals, business goals, interpersonal goals, goals for success with health. I know some people that are very successful with triathlons, and they tend to have that same process we do in the business world, which is maybe they get hurt and they have to take a break and heal that piece up again and then get back on the bike or go back running again. But this 2% is a mindset. It's a reference to a mindset of strength and courage. And when you get hurt, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, that you just get back up on that bike and you go again.
Yeah, so that reminds me, it reminds me also of an image that went viral a couple years ago, and it shared the stories of many very successful people. And the one that I remember the most was about Michael Jordan. And he was making a list of all the things that he missed. For example, he said something like, I missed 300 winning goals. I lost 50 times the winning game in the final. So he made a list like that. And at the end, the quote said, I failed so many times, that's why I succeed. So...
Amen to that. He's very inspirational, and that's a perfect real-life example of somebody who lived as a 2%er that fell down and got back up and failed and then succeeded. I love that story. Thank you.
Yeah, and also, in fact, for me, the way also I see it is that if you focus on just what you missed, you get negative. But it's by that process of practicing and doing it again, even if it didn't work as well as you'd like the first time or the second or the 10th time, sooner or later you'll get good enough and it's going to work. So
very true. That reminds me of one thing, since you mentioned Danny Johnson, how we met mutually through her teachings. She has this daily practice that she recommends people do. And when you're talking about focusing on the successes, not focusing on the failures, it reminded me of that. She has something called a Sproat Journal. And she talks about keeping track of the little tiny daily sprouts. When we plant seeds, whether those are good or bad, they're going to grow something. So she's talking about planting good seeds, focusing on those little baby sprouts and not stepping on them, because sometimes our successes are so little. Maybe during the day we have one hard email we had to write, and then maybe another hard thing was a really important phone call, and we actually were brave enough to pick up the phone and make that call. All of those little tiny successes are little baby sprouts that are growing. And sometimes we look at the small successes and say, oh, it's not very good. I didn't do a good job today. And we step on that sprout and we kill our little baby plants. So it's really important that if we want to train our brains to have that kind of focus where we continue to focus on the good things, we do just like you said, which is practice. So the practice of writing down all of our small daily successes and watching them grow into full-grown plants that eventually one day we can harvest from. And sometimes we refer to that as a financial harvest, but remember that this is in every area of your life. Success is not just about money success. It's about success in every area of your life. And so you can do little baby sprouts that you did for business, and maybe you saved a little bit of money and didn't spend wastely that day or buy that new pair of shoes you didn't need, and that's a sprout. And maybe you made your email list a little bit bigger for your contacts for business, and that's a sprout. So every day, the more you focus and practice on that, the better your focus becomes and the stronger your abilities to be able to stay in that positive mindset.
Yeah, exactly. I not only remember that, but I practice that. I won't lie, it's not daily, but almost daily.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And nobody ever is perfect at anything that I've seen. We're just human. We just do our best. So exactly. It's the practice of trying to do something every day and then succeeding at doing it maybe 4, 5, or 6 times that week instead of every single day. But cumulative, when you add up all those days that you did do it for the year and you have more days you did than more days you didn't, then that's where success really does come in. And it's a realistic success, not a crazy ideal that nobody can ever achieve.
Great. Awesome. So it's great. I knew that we would have gold having you in the show. So, but now it's time to wrap up. So in this, just to recap, in this episode, we focused more on the straighten our mindset part by digging into what it means and what needs to happen when we decide to go all in. We also talked about our some of our limiting beliefs. For sure, there's other that we can talk another time, and we learn how we can transform our I can'ts into how can I's. And lastly, we saw what separates the 2%ers from the rest of the population. And we even add a little bonus with the sprout. Really appreciate that. So we can't stress enough how important this mindset part is essential. And that is why, in fact, it's on purpose the first of the 12 steps program, because no matter how well we master and implement all the 11 other steps, if our mindset is not aligned, it is not going to work. So it's not only the most important, but it's really mandatory to work on the mindset. So next time we will work this the first step. We'll talk about how we can effortlessly admit that we were powerless over our past struggle. So, but now for next week, we'll continue with step 2. The step 2 is we came to believe that we could enlighten the attractive character that we are. So that will be next week, and we'll also have another amazing guest, so you don't want to miss this. So keep an eye on your email inbox, and as I will send you the invite and reveal the name of that guest. So for now, I want to extend a warm welcome to Kristin for allowing us to pick her brain.
You're very welcome, Jeff. It was my pleasure.
Great. So I want to also thank everyone for listening in and tuning in, and look forward to lock arms with you and together master these steps. Until then, I wish you an amazing journey.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.